13. It's 12, and you know it's time for Touchline on Y254, seeking to keep you posted with the latest in sports, both local and beyond. As usual, two musketeers facilitating the program. Maxwell, Wasike is my name, alongside Robert Osoro. How have you been, nigga? You easy?
I'm good, man. Did you just call me a musketeer?
Yeah, man, you are. A certified one, in fact. You're looking epic as usual. What's lined up this afternoon?
Everything that is going on in the East Africa school games that are starting up today in Gulu, northern Uganda. We are going to be expecting big things that are happening there. Our teams are there representing us. We sent a very big contingent of groups in there. Then we got the Hong Kong team coming here for the test series match. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the program, because it is big for Kenya 15 to be playing these test matches here at home. But also the KPL and the GoTV Shield is back here. People got to watch what is happening. Is Gor Mahia ready to be winning the league so far, because we are going on to round 20. Gor Mahia have one game in hand. It's a big talking point for them as they go ahead. But also we got to discuss what is happening in Europe. The transfer sagas. It is the last days to the end of the transfer window. Who is winning and who is losing?
So, of course, a lot lined up on the show. We're going to keep it locked to this particular platform. We want to keep you updated with everything in sports across several disciplines. As Justice said, 16th edition of East African Secondary School Games kicking off today in Gulu, Uganda. Of course, a total of 3,500 students competing over for several honors in 13 disciplines, and Kenya being represented by a strong squad. Of course, several schools from Kenya that probably got crowned the champions during East African School Games last year in Eldoret, seeking to replicate the same glittering show and probably emerge victorious in East African showpiece, which has attracted several countries taking part, Kenya inclusive. And of course, tomorrow at Ngong Road, epic fixture, Kenya taking on Hong Kong in a full test match. Of course, several players, 17 changes to the squad that was named during the midweek, 6 debutants seeking to make their full international debut. What do you make of the squad that was named on Wednesday? Of course, Jerome Powata just seeking to, beat Hong Kong the same way they did last year. In August.
Yeah, it is a big one for Kenya, because this match is also their readiness into the World Cup 2019. The major talking point from the team that was named, of the 17 players who are coming on board, they matched the average age of the players in rugby 15 to down to 24. So you've got 20 plus people in the pool who are younger, and they have got 18-year-olds in the team. So they are playing to 2019 for the qualifiers of World Cup in Japan 2019. The Kenya 15 team is really working hard so that they can be there. I spoke to Abimana. The 15 team was sad that they lost the Africa Gold Cup. The Rugby Gold Cup Africa. Losing to Namibia was not good for them, because they had been on a good run, beating Tunisia, beating Zimbabwe, drawing only with Uganda. And now in the test match, they have only lost to Germany by a drop ball. Now going against Hong Kong, it is going to be a good game for them as they prepare going forward. Remember, the season is also about to start. The 7th series is about to start, and these players will be going to their respective clubs to play for the 7th circuit. But so far, for the Hong Kong game, they are ready to go.
Blend of both youth and experience. George Nyambua coming back as the captain, of course, a student at Masinde Muliro University, just making a comeback from Cabras Rugby Football Club, a team that managed to emerge runners-up during Kenya Cup campaign last season. Of course, captaining the side tomorrow. What do you make of his coming at the helm as a keeper to replace Wilson Koponda, man who has vast experience, and probably, of course, Oliver Mangen also coming back alongside Biko Adema and Ronnie Mwenesi, not forgetting Vincent Mose, who's been plying his trade in Uganda. What do you make of capability and potentiality of one George Nyambua as the skipper of the team?
I think he's shown the leadership skills. He has shown the leadership skills that he can go ahead and be the captain of these young boys, because the likes of Biko Adema have played this game for long enough and they are going out. You do not expect to have the big leaders in the team like Amonde to be in the team for the 15s. You don't expect Chisanga to be in the Hong Kong game because he's going back to play for the Falcons. So you need other young guys to come up, and the guys who are playing locally are good for them. Cabras, he has been under the likes of Phil Okorachi. These are the leaders in the game. They have been telling, this is how you do this. And Nyambua now, you saw from what he was talking about, he's ready to be the captain, and hopefully 2019 he can be the one leading the side.
He's ready to be the captain. Of course, tomorrow big fixture lined up at RFUA grounds. Kenya taking on Hong Kong in a full test match that is slated to kick off at 3 p.m. East African time. And remember the hashtag Simba ni moja, and get charges 400 Kenyan money for get advance, and of course regular is 500. Quite affordable considering the current financial hard times. So all seeking to attend that particular fixture can make it their way along Gong Road tomorrow, 3 p.m.
Yeah, 1,000 for VIP, so it's not much. Actually, the Kenya Rugby Union is trying to expand the RFUA. They are planning, when you look at the bleachers and everything, because most of the matches that they have been having at the RFUA, the capacity is 4,000 to 5,000. When they also accumulate the people at the village, it gets to 6,000, 7,000. But now they're where the bleachers and the VIP areas, they are planning to construct so that by when the series starts, they have 10,000 people coming into the game. So you can accommodate 7,000 to 8,000 people at the arena watching the game, and 2,000 to 3,000 people going for the village to watch the game from the village. Because there are some of us, when we go for the matches, we don't care about what is happening on the field, but our bellies have to be taken care of at the village.
Of course, our squad was announced on Wednesday at RFA grounds, and probably if we're ready to go, we can listen to one Dominic Habimana, forwards coach, speaking about the inclusion of Vincent Mosaman, who's been plying his trade in Ugandan League, and of course, considering the tension that has rocked the country after the elections on 8th August, we managed to speak to one of the security officers who guaranteed all those seeking to attend the fixture of their safety. I don't know what do you make of his sentiments, considering that, you know, there has been nervousness and tension. But now let's take a look and see what they say ahead of the big showpiece tomorrow.
Club back in Uganda. He's now officially back in Kenya, and we are very excited to have a player like that. Because remember, before he left, he was quite instrumental in our team that is during the Africa 2013-2014. It's only that work took him away from here. That is 2016. Right now he's back. Until 2 weeks ago, he's been quietly involved in the Uganda training programs. And a player like that, with the exposure and experience that he have, definitely you'd want to have a world-class player like Vincent Ponce. And we are happy to try him this Saturday to see what is, if he can give us what he left back here before he left.
We are looking for exploring our depth for this series, which is also the goal for the Hong Kong team itself. So we've been training with a large squad, and we thank the CEO and director of rugby for facilitating that particular wide squad. So we want to give the boys who have been learning the ropes and coming through, or getting one test here and there, or coming off the bench a lot. So these are the people now who are ready to step up from where they have reached, just like last year. It's 17 changes from the team that played in the Southern Africa tour, but it's the same team that has been training throughout the year. So in that sense, yes, from the previous week, yes, there's a lot of changes, but all of these people have been training with us. So we're looking forward to see what they can offer, and we are in fact excited with how they've been training and how they've been coming through.
I'm standing here to represent the Nairobi County Commander. He is aware that I've come here just to guarantee the organizers, the players, and the participants of the match which will take place on 20th, that security will be provided as we will be providing in the other matches. The small issues which are being highlighted here and there on matters of insecurity is not here. It's not within this place. We have nothing within this place. Security is happening.
Wangila Simiyu, TAM of Kenya Simbas, speaking on Wednesday at RFUA grounds during the naming of the squad that saw a total of 17 changes being made and 6 players making the international full debuts tomorrow as Kenya take on Hong Kong in a full test match at RFUA grounds, a game that is scheduled to kick off at 3 p.m. East African time. Osoro, Robert, maybe as we wind up on that particular segment, what are you looking forward to? Your quick prediction about that kind of fixture as Kenya seeks probably to qualify for Rugby World Cup in 2019?
We have beaten them before, and we are going to beat them tomorrow.
You're so buoyant and optimistic, man.
Yeah, very much.
Very much. Of course, it's the touchline on Y254 Maxwell, Wasike and Robert Osoro taking you through. You can be part of the show. Just join us on our social media handles at Wasike Maxwell, at Osoro Bats, at Touchline Y25, and we have a new WhatsApp number in town. You can keep your contributions coming as usual. Your feedback will be appreciated. Osoro, Robert, as we head to East African School Games starting today in Uganda, a total of 3,500 students taking part, 13 disciplines being competed over. Derbies anticipated, Upper Hill locking horns against Laser Hill in rugby, of course an all-Kenyan affair, and also remember Malava will be taking on Cheptil in volleyball. Clash, a repeat of last year's tie.
One of the major statistics in the game is Kenya has lost the team title once in 10 years. So every time Kenya goes all out in the East African School Games, they are going out to win. They are not going out to play jokes. St. Anthony have not been in the game for the last 5 years. They were the maiden champions in 2002 in football. They are back in the game. People are going to see how that one is going to play out. But when it comes to the opening of the games today, we'll see Upper Hill open the account with the Chibuli boys in Pool A of the football. Then in Pool B, we'll be having the regional winners, St. Anthony themselves of Kitale, playing against Laisdu of Kigali, Rwanda. Then we've got also in girls representative Wiyeta. These girls have been making proud of us. We'll be playing with Ibinzo girls today from Burundi. And also, they'll be taking Kabusunsu of Rwanda in Pool B, who are making their debut in the East African School Games. So the newcomers are going against the 4-time winners Wiyeta, so it's going to be tricky for them, and let's see how they are going to work on that. But also, Rugby 15s, which has been really ours in the school games, is starting off with the Kenyan team. Upper Hill and Laser will be facing off today in that game. It's called the Kakamega Derby here right now when they cross over to Uganda, so they'll be playing there. But also, other matches we'll see in Tare School face off St. Mary's Chisubi. And the games are mostly going to be played in a round-robin format.
Remember, it's 13 disciplines being competed over in Gulu, Uganda, as the 16th edition of East African Secondary School Games kick off today in earnest. And remember, the last year's edition took place in Eldoret, and Kenya managed to bag some medals, of course, in volleyball. Malava going home with that prestigious accolade, of course, after beating their arch rivals and Kenyan counterparts, Cheptil. And remember, that fixture is lined up in a repeat of last year's clash. And remember, Kenya being represented in football, Kakamega High School making their comeback, and of course St. Anthony Kitale and Upper Hill High School also on the fall. Rugby, Laser and Upper Hill as well, and they will be locking horns this particular afternoon. We want to be keeping you posted with the results of those clashes as they happen, so you better stay tuned to the touchline on Y25, even on our social media handles. But away from that, to Go TV Shield Cup with several fixtures lined up this afternoon at Nyayo National Stadium. KPL also making a return after last weekend's break due to election. Maybe the fixtures you have so far, and remember, Simon Sepe Mulama, former Kenya international, a man who featured for both FC Leopards and Mathare United, will just be joining us shortly to dissect about what's expected as several teams lock horns to, emerge victorious and bag the
for the Go TV Shield, it's in the quarterfinal stage, so we are on to the last stages of the game and see what is going to happen in these games and who is going to come out the winner. But one of the key matches that we'll be discussing here today is because the KPL match between Bandari and Sony Sugar. These are the KPL sides who will be locking on in the Go TV Shield. But we have got the champions Tusker going ahead with Vihiga United. Tusker will be heading to Vihiga to play Vihiga United, but that game will be tomorrow. FC Leopards, who have not seen the Go TV title since 2013 under James Nandwa, will be locking horns with Wazito FC, and Wazito FC have come to the side. It is their first time Frank Ouna has guided a team to the quarterfinals, and Wazito is in that quarterfinal. But don't forget also today at Nyayo, it's a double-header. Kariobangi Sharks going ahead with Eldoret Youth at 1 p.m. Then Bandari versus Sony Sugar at 3:15. All the analysis, you'll be getting it from the man who has been in the Go TV coverage for a very long time. He understands this game. Simon Sepe Mulama will be here with us to discuss much more of those games.
It's the sports pages on Y254. Just wrapping up, and Osoro Robert happened to catch up exclusively with one of the high-profile former Kenyan internationals. Probably you want to tease that? Does it feel meeting a man who made Kenya proud during his 8 days?
Well, it's Peter Lichungu. He was one of the best defenders FC Leopards who ever played for FC Leopards back in the day. He won the Sekafa Senior Challenge Cup, won the Kenya Premier League, and is one of the defenders people who played football really like to see and watch when they used to play. He will be talking to us on how it was back then joining FC Leopards.
So let's take a look and see what Peter Lichungu has to offer for Kenyan football in the coming days after an exclusive chat with Robert Osoro. It's a commercial break. We want to come back shortly. Keep it here and stay tuned.